there folks, this is Sean Broderick. This video is one I shot when I was on the road in Parral, Mexico. Parral is the heart of an old silver district back from the Spanish colonial days. I was visiting a company called Quantamex, which is a wholly owned Mexican subsidiary of a company called GoGold. Quantamex runs a heap-leach operation. In it, they can take old tailings from the old Spanish colonial silver and gold mines and reprocess them and get a lot more silver and gold out of them. Now, the sound on the first part of this video didn't work, which is why I'm talking over it now. But you need to hear the rest, because I'm talking to CEO Brad Langille, and he's going to explain what his company is up to and why the future looks so bright for GoGold.
So, right now, Brad's going to give you the scoop on what the company is up to and what they'll be doing next. Could you please speak to my viewers?
Great, thanks, Ron. We're here in Parral, and Parral, we came in here first in 2012. We found this great pile of what was waste at the time, in fact, an environmental issue for the community. And we did a deal with the community. We pay them $57,000 a month. We haul it out of the city. We have a 10-year plus mine life here. We've built an agglomerated heap leach for $45 million. And why did we do that? We're one of the people who've done that. We are agglomerating, heap leaching, reprocessing of tailings. We did that because it was a relatively low capex for the tons that we're producing here. Right now we're producing about 5,000 tons a day, and we're going to grow that to about 10,000 tons a day.
Right, and so you're taking the old rock from the old mine, so you don't need to grind it up or anything, right?
No, in fact, we put it back together into a pellet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we mix it with cement, and we put it out in that heat, and that's a real important part of the process. We make a really good pellet, and we've developed the technology of perfecting that with tailings. And we put it out here, and now we get great recovery. We get about 67% of the gold and silver that's remaining in there, and it ends up in solution in these trenches behind us here.
Right. If you folks look, let me just tilt this a little bit. You can see that there's water coming out of a pipe. That's actually coming out of that heap leach pile right there, and that brings pregnant solution, as they call it, which actually has silver and gold in it, and also copper. We'll get to that. And brings it down this ditch, and then they get to process it in their plant. And it's a great operation. I mean, it was really nice, top-notch when you showed us around here. And so you guys have about a 10-year mine life, but the beauty of it is there are so many of these old mines in Mexico that you can just get more stuff for your project here, right?
That's right. You know, if you look at a country like South Africa, this is a big, big business over there, reprocessing tailings.
You mean the same kind of thing that's happening here?
A little bit different twist. We've developed something a little bit new here, technology-wise. But in this side of the Atlantic, in the country of Mexico, there's hundreds of millions of tons. We have 20 million tons here that we're operating on today for the next 10 years. But there's hundreds of millions of tons in Mexico. And we started to explore those other tailings. And in fact, within trucking distance of this infrastructure, there's at least another 20 to 30 million tons of tailings that could come into this operation over the next 10, 20 years. So it can be a long-lived operation. Mexico is a long runway of tailings, and that's just one part of our business. Our other part of our business is building mines like we have over the last 21 years.
Right.
We built Ocampo, very large mine in Mexico. That company went to over $2 billion.
You guys have had past success, which is very important. Let's speak about your team a bit, because one thing that I always tell my subscribers, management matters. So let's speak about that a little bit too.
Okay, well, we started here 21 years ago. My first mine was the Ocampo mine. It was two large mines.
Yeah.
A pit that moved 100,000 tons a day of waste and ore to a 10,000 ton a day heap leach. We also had an underground mine in Ocampo, which we drove 50 kilometers of underground development. We processed 1,500 tons a day of ore in that mine. That mine eventually was sold to one of the richest men in the world, his company, Carlos Slim, for a couple of years ago for $750 million. We also had the asset, which is called El Cubo, which is the main asset of one of the other mid-tier producers in Mexico, and they bought that a few years back for $250 million. So we've been building mines, and we've been doing innovative things like this tailing project here for the last 21 years in Mexico, and we've developed great governmental mining business connections in Mexico, and most of these mines that we've built we acquired from private families, and we've had great luck there.
Right. You have a really strong team that can head out and speak to these people and actually get those projects. And you are going to crank up production here, and that's going to lower your costs, isn't it? Could you speak to that a bit?
That's right. Right now, our cost is a little over $11 for cash cost, and that's at only 366,000 ounces equivalent sold last quarter. This quarter will be more, and we hope that by the end of this year, we'll be at about 600,000 ounces of silver equivalent. And what that does, not only does it lower our unit cost, lower our cash cost per ounce, it lowers our all-in sustaining cost.
Yes.
We have low G&A, about $4 million a year. But if we double our production, we cut our G&A in more than half. So we plan to be at a cash cost of under $10 an ounce.
And so what would your all-in sustaining cost be then?
Now our all-in sustaining costs now are right about $15. But as the production goes up, they go down drastically. As the tonnage goes up, it goes down drastically. And it should come down to about $12 all-in sustaining cost.
Which is a nice fat margin when you look at the price of silver now. And personally speaking, I think the price of silver is going a lot higher. So that'll be great. Now, let's speak about how you get the copper out, because that's really fascinating and it gives your company cash flow right now.
Right. We are generating cash flow right now from gold and silver sales. But the copper, there is a little bit of copper in this material. And we put in a new plant called a SART. And the SART takes that copper that's in solution. It does two things. See, the copper binds up the cyanide. And cyanides are our most expensive consumable here. So when we put it through that plant, it regenerates that cyanide. About 80% of that costly cyanide comes back and we can use it again. The other thing it does, it produces copper for us. We precipitate out copper sulfide that is easily sellable to the copper smelters. And we can sell it for 90% of the value of the copper in there. So we will be starting this quarter selling some copper. We've been commissioning our SART plant. It's up and running now. We'll be expanding it, and it should generate, when it's fully up and running and to full scale, we should generate around about another 10,000 US a day of net revenue from copper sales.
And that's on top of your silver and gold sales.
That's right.
Which is just going to be fantastic. So they have all this stuff going for them. They have worked out the kinks in the process. They are ramping up production. You can see it going on right here now, and it's just really working out well for them, and they are really good at like finding great projects and then maybe selling those later on down the road. You just did that recently with...
We did. We had the Sandra Gratuitous project, which we bought for $9 million in 2014. We just sold it in November to Agnico Eagle for $80 million US cash.
All right.
Plus a royalty that's worth about $15 million.
So they have all these things going for them, and they'll have steady and growing cash flow from this project that really gives them a base to expand, maybe do more exploration, maybe do who knows what. But it's a fantastic opportunity for a nice little miner like this. And so my hat's off to you, or I would take it off, but we're on site right now. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that just to stress that although we've developed technology that is going to be so valuable for tailings reprocessing, we're also a traditional miner. And we're going to do a lot more of what we've done in the last 21 years. Finding projects, developing value, selling the projects, or building mines.
Okay, great. We can't leave without letting people know the symbol for GoGold.
Yes, we trade on the main exchange in Canada, GGD, on the Toronto Stock Exchange.
Okay, great. Well, that wraps it up for me. Thank you very much for speaking to my subscribers. You folks stay tuned. I'll have more for you. This is Sean Broderick down in Mexico. Just saw a great mine and a great project, and there's more to come.